Well, hi to my YouTube subscribers. Well, I've been studying Thai now for about a year, and I thought I'd share with you some of my experiences. Now, I learn best in a structured school environment. I did about 6 months of classes at the Patong Language School in Phuket, and I highly recommend this school. Now, for some of that time, I did a 4-hour-a-day intensive, and at other times, I did 2 hours a day of private instruction. Now, if you can afford private classes, I recommend it. Some number of the students in a group class may be there just for the education visa. This may affect the quality of the class. Now, during my first 2 months of classes, I learned to read. Now, I believe that most people who become proficient in Thai started by learning to read. And this is because the system of transliteration, that is representing the sound of Thai words in the English alphabet, is terrible. By the time you memorize how to pronounce the combination A, E, O, you might just as well have learned the sound of the actual vowel, AO. The pronunciation of these transliterations is not at all intuitive. Learning the Thai alphabet is particularly useful as, unlike English, pronunciations are generally phonetic. If you can spell the word, you can generally pronounce it correctly. Now, once you learn to read, you can expand your knowledge by reading the outdoor signs as you walk. But there is a difficulty. Signs, particularly advertising signs, are written in an entirely different modern font. It's not, at first, obvious what the letters are. So, it's worthwhile spending some time learning the modern font as well as the traditional font. Now, one great feature of Thai is that the grammar is simple compared to other languages. There are no conjugations. Tenses are formed by just adding a word indicating when the action takes place. Nouns are not gendered, and there are no adverb or adjective agreements as you have, for example, in German. On the other hand, Thai is a tonal language with 5 tones somewhat similar to Mandarin. But I think that Thai pronunciation is more complicated than Mandarin because the duration of vowel sounds varies. You have short vowels that are spoken very quickly and long vowels that are held longer. There are also vowels that fall in between. So getting the tones right is hard enough, but learning how long to hold the vowels adds an additional dimension of difficulty. Now, I haven't learned to write, but my MacBook has an English-Thai keyboard, so I can type in Thai. Writing or typing in Thai is very useful because it allows you to learn the spelling of words. If you know how a word is spelled, you can generally infer both the tone and the duration of the syllables. Now, it took me some time to learn the complex rules around inferring the tone of words, but it's worth the effort. And here's a flowchart describing these rules, and you can see that they are indeed complex, but you can learn to do this, and it's worthwhile to learn. Now, I find that speaking Thai is relatively easy compared to listening to and understanding Thai speakers. Thai speakers will often know what you're trying to say, so they can compensate for your errors speaking. But for me, understanding a real Thai conversation can be challenging. Thais tend to speak fast, and there are a lot of regional variations in pronunciation. For this reason, it's very useful to listen to real Thai conversations. Now, one of the best sources of such conversations is YouTube. I particularly recommend the stories of Kru Bo. I'll put a link in the description. Kru Bo speaks slowly and clearly most of the time, not always, and she repeats key words in the stories. Her stories are actually quite entertaining. If I'm not able to catch everything, I'll record portions on Google Translate. This gives me both a Thai transcript and the English translation, so I can make sure that I understand every word of the story. Now, I can also recommend the conversations you'll find on the channel Thai with Grace. These conversations, some with Kru Grace's mother, feel very real. I actually bought a set of 25 real-life Thai conversations from her website. These were very realistic, but quite challenging, but I worked through them with my teacher. Now, one of the best resources I found are the hundreds of videos out there by various teachers covering specific grammar and usage topics. Many of these emphasize learning how Thais really speak versus what you find in the textbooks. For example, it took me a while to find out that Thais don't use the pronoun to for she, as the textbooks suggest. They use cow for both he and she. And of course, Thais omit every pronoun they can when they speak. Now, Kru Grace has a great video describing some of these differences between textbook Thai and spoken Thai, and I'll put a link in the description. Now, one of the best ways to learn Thai is to speak as much Thai as you can with native speakers. Now, I think it can be ideal to have a Thai girlfriend or boyfriend who doesn't speak much English, will speak only Thai with you, and is willing to correct your errors. Of course, this is difficult until you reach a basic level of proficiency. Now, earlier I mentioned the importance of being able to distinguish the tones and duration of vowels when listening. Now, one exercise that I found valuable is to listen to sets of words that differ only in their tone and duration. For example,
เขาเข่าเข้าข้าวขาว cow.
Now, it's useful to listen to these words in random order, so your ear gets accustomed to distinguishing among them. Now, I just published a video that you can use to practice this, and I'll put a link in the description of this video. So you can check out that video and let me know if it's useful in your Thai practice. And if you have any suggestions about learning Thai from your own experience, please let me know in the comments. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you soon.